I mean, I don't really know. That's for the higher ups to decide. And I've said it a few times this year. If you want to figure out what's going to happen in the game of golf, go to the other tour and ask those guys. I'm still here playing the PGA Tour. We had a tour where we all played together, and the guys that left, it's their responsibility, I think, to bring the tours back together and go see where they're playing. I mean, I only get to compete against those guys 4 times a year, and that was their choice, not mine. And so, at the end of the day, I'm here competing and doing the best I can, and that kind of stuff. What's the point of me thinking about? I mean, there's really absolutely no point to that. We get 4 chances to compete against them, and last week went well, and I'll get another chance here in a few.
Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1 golfer, stood under the bright 2026 skies at Bethpage Black, yet his focus wasn't on his next shot. The 2025 Ryder Cup, meant to celebrate golf's greatest talents, had turned chaotic. American fans shouted at European legend Rory McIlroy, shattering the usual calm. Normally composed, Scheffler surprised everyone by signaling the crowd to stop, asking for respect. The gesture went viral, sparking debates across social media and sports networks. Many praised the composure, while others saw it as a sign of growing tension in professional golf. His 2025 dominance, including a historic Open Championship win, now face scrutiny amid the sport's shifting atmosphere.
It's really excited to get these types of events started. Keegan and our vice captains put us in a position to succeed. They did everything that was asked of them, and I had extreme confidence in what this team could do. And that's due to our captain. I think they did an amazing job. Keegan did an amazing job, and I mean,
the game wasn't just about precision anymore. It was about emotion and identity, and how players handle pressure under the world's gaze. Scottie Scheffler's victory carried tension as local fans rallied behind hometown hero Rory McIlroy. When he lifted the trophy, cheers mixed with sharp remarks and cool silence. Scheffler later admitted some comments went too far, a reminder that heat-of-the-moment words often cross lines. Even while leading, he overheard pointed remarks that didn't break his focus but lingered. Golf had become emotionally divided, where supporting one player sometimes meant tearing another down. Scheffler stayed composed, letting his game speak louder than words. At the BMW Championship, he won again, though officials put him and Robert McIntyre on the clock for slow play, a clear signal that even the best were not above the rules.
I could not care any less about being the favorite or not being the favorite. We all started even par, and I think at times this year it may have gotten overly frustrated. I think it's just part of the game. I think part of the game is controlling your emotions, is controlling your mind, and I've definitely gotten better.
Bethpage Black in New York, long celebrated for its passionate and vocal crowds, became the epicenter of an extraordinary mix of emotion and tension during the 2025 Ryder Cup. What began as intense but friendly competition quickly turned into a story of controversy and reflection. Reports described the atmosphere as electric, with the European team, particularly Rory McIlroy, facing relentless heckling. The crowd's energy, initially intended to inspire, began to dominate the narrative of the event itself. At the heart of it all stood Scottie Scheffler. Having endured similar fan behavior earlier that season, Scheffler chose a different approach this time. Rather than confront the noise with frustration, he attempted to calm the same crowd that was supposed to be cheering for him. The gesture, understated yet powerful, immediately drew attention. What followed, however, became the subject of global headlines. Witnesses reported that Scheffler's father politely approached a spectator who had been shouting at McIlroy, asking them to stop. Meanwhile, Scheffler's mother stayed composed amidst escalating tension, earning praise online. The image of the world's top golfer supported by his family, maintaining calm during one of golf's highest-profile events, resonated deeply. Despite reminders from a PGA of America urging fans to respect players, many noted that the warnings barely penetrated the roaring stands. The fact that Scheffler's family had to step in underscored just how volatile the situation had become. The incident triggered a wave of public apologies and reflection, exposing the deep challenges surrounding crowd behavior at major tournaments. Even the tournament's master of ceremonies faced criticism for encouraging the crowd during heated moments, eventually stepping down in a symbolic gesture. Golf legend Tom Watson added a defining voice to the conversation. Taking to social media, Watson apologized for the American crowd's rude and mean-spirited behavior, calling a moment of national shame. His words, echoing across the sport, carried weight and gravitas, emphasizing integrity over pride. U.S. team captain Keegan Bradley and several American players followed, offering apologies to their European counterparts. Rarely had athletes apologized not for their play, but for the uncontrolled fervor of their fans. The episode highlighted a growing tension between players and spectators, signaling that the loss of control could shake golf's long-standing traditions of respect and composure. As Europe celebrated its Ryder Cup victory, discussions emerged about the sport's global image and future. Scottie Scheffler, through his calm response, inadvertently sparked a broader conversation about leadership, fairness, and respect. His actions became symbolic. Golf stood at a crossroads between its historic decorum and modern-day intensity. The PGA Tour, which had previously faced criticism for slow play enforcement and fan management, found itself under scrutiny once more. Questions arose about who was truly protecting the spirit of the game. If a top-ranked player had intervened to maintain order, it suggested the sport's challenges extended far beyond the course. Sponsors reportedly expressed concern, fearing golf's reputation for class and composure was slipping. Throughout the controversy, Scheffler remained mostly silent, letting his actions speak. He engaged privately with PGA officials, urging more thoughtful approaches to crowd behavior rather than harsher penalties. His stance emphasized fairness and respect, qualities that made him a quiet but influential figure in golf leadership. The PGA promised reviews and improvements, but many viewed it as reactive rather than proactive. By early 2026, tension in professional golf persisted. Rumors circulated of top players reconsidering participation in upcoming PGA events, citing ongoing concerns about crowd behavior. Scheffler found himself central in discussions with officials and player representatives, advocating reforms to ensure competitors were treated fairly. His guiding principle was simple: respect must be standard, not optional. The controversy also drew attention from competitors outside the PGA. Live Golf subtly promoted its events as more controlled, intensifying the debate over golf's future. Amid this, reports emerged of Scheffler being approached by international promoters to lead a neutral tournament series focused purely on competition and unity, sparking speculation about a potential shift in the global golf landscape. Ultimately, Scheffler's intervention at Bethpage became a defining moment. His quiet courage, emphasis on principle, and insistence on fairness highlighted a broader issue. Leadership in golf isn't just about scores or rankings, but about protecting the integrity of the game itself. As 2026 unfolded, the PGA implemented fan conduct reforms, increased event marshals, and introduced stricter crowd management, though many questioned whether the changes were sufficient. Scheffler's dominance on the course remained, but every victory carried a shadow of Bethpage. His actions reshaped conversations around sportsmanship, accountability, and the responsibilities of players, fans, and organizers alike. When he stepped onto Augusta in the spring of 2026, the tone was noticeably calmer, a subtle acknowledgement of the lessons learned. Golf, once defined solely by rivalry and prizes, was rediscovering its foundation: respect, integrity, and the power of quiet leadership. The 2025 Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black will likely be remembered not for scores, but for the wake-up call it delivered. Scottie Scheffler, by standing firm amidst chaos, emerged as an unexpected voice of conscience, reminding the world that sportsmanship and respect are the truest trophies in the game.